Tiger Woods, arguably the best golfer in the world with a whopping 82 wins at PGA Tour events, tied with Sam Snead, which makes it the most PGA Tour wins in golf history, 15 breathtaking majors to his name, and he was just the youngest golfer ever to complete the career Grand Slam. He was just 24 at the time. There was no doubt that his career on the golf course is one that every golfer wishes to have. But beyond all this lies a long history of infidelity that would leave your mouth open in shock. All seemed to be going well with this legendary golfer until the car crash of 2009 opened up a huge can of worms and changed the trajectory of his life forever. In today's video, we'll be taking a deep dive into the numerous mistresses that led to Tiger Woods' fall from grass to grace and the very public divorce that led to his disappearance from the tour. So how much do you know about this American golfer's tunnel of infidelity? Let's find out. Welcome to Golf Links. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel to get notifications on new video drops. This story begins with a car crash that reveals that all that glitters is indeed not gold. First, there was Tiger Woods, a child star that came into the limelight when he was just 2 years old. By the time he turned 20, the prodigy was already a pro and had won lots of prestigious championships that would cement his name in the sands of history. Within the first decade of his golfing career, Tiger Woods had won tons of PGA tournaments and went up to the #1 golfer rank, where he spent a record amount of time. And what about his personal life? Well, all seemed perfect there too. He was married to Ellen Nordegren, and they lived happily together in a massive $3.8 million Florida mansion with their 2 children, or so it seemed. Then the car crash of 2009 happened, and the public image of Tiger Woods that we all knew shattered into bits. Specifically, on November 27, 2009, Woods crashed his Cadillac Escalade into a tree right next to his home after his wife had attacked his locked car with the golf club. Meanwhile, he was able to get out of the badly damaged car while the couple sat out on the streets waiting for police to arrive. Eventually, Woods was fined about $150 for careless driving, but we're sure he would have wished that this was the worst event of that night. While some reports suggest that Ellen was asleep when her husband crashed his car at 2:30 a.m., there's a huge possibility that the attack happened because she found out Woods had been cheating on her with a New York nightclub hostess known as Rachel. This claim is supported by a report only from 2 days earlier from the National Enquirer confirming allegations of extramarital affairs with Rachel Uchitel. This was the one person in a long list of mistresses, as every revelation shocked the public. Several tabloids revealed that Tiger Woods had cheated with more than 100 women throughout his marriage, including a neighbor that he and his wife were close to. At first, Woods tried to deny these allegations with a short personal statement, but the nail in the coffin came with a post by the US Weekly. They attached a voicemail that the golfer had allegedly left for another woman, Jamie Grubbs, telling her to take her name off her phone as his wife may have been onto them. From that moment, Jamie decided it was time to release hundreds of dirty text messages she had shared with the legendary golfer, and that inspired other women to come out with their stories. From cocktail waitresses to actresses and even models, it seemed like there was no end in sight. So who were these women? Obviously, we can't go into details on all of Tiger Woods' mistresses, but let's talk about the ones that stood out the most. Of course, we begin with Rachel Uchitel, the scandal that bared it all. Although she signed a non-disclosure agreement with Tiger Woods where she allegedly received $5 million for a promise of silence, Rachel decided to break that agreement in 2019 in a documentary months after filing for bankruptcy. The stigma of being the golfer's mistress hadn't reduced by any degree, and this was negatively affecting any of her attempts to start a business. Meanwhile, Rachel and Woods met through the famous baseball player Derek Jeter, and they were all mutual friends. Apparently, her story before this meeting was a sad one. After losing her fiancé to the 9/11 terrorist attack, Rachel got married in 2004 and then moved to Las Vegas after the marriage failed within a year. In this city, she worked at the club of an old friend until she met Tiger Woods in 2008. While she was already aware that he was a chronic cheat despite being married, this didn't stop Rachel from starting up a sexual relationship with him in 2009. She enjoyed the status of getting flown around the world to his golfing tournaments and believed that she was truly special. However, this may be a sentiment shared by many of his other women, including Jamie Jungers, another mistress in this long lineup. Tiger Woods was only 9 months into his marriage with Ellen when he attended an exclusive party at the Bellagio Hotel in Las Vegas. This was where he met Jamie Jungers in July 2005 while she was doing promotional work at the hotel. From exchanging numbers and a few laughs to having a romp at his suite at the MGM Grand Mansion Hotel, that was the beginning of the illicit affair between the pair, which involved a lot of trips to California and late-night hangouts. Meanwhile, just as Tiger Woods was married, Jamie had been engaged to Derek Schmidt, a businessman and huge fan of the golfer since 2002, so he had no reason to believe that they were nothing but head over heels in love. While Derek was excited at how close he had gotten to his idol through his fiancée, he had no idea of the true nature of their relationship until it all spilled out in the tabloids. When it seemed like things were quieting down, another woman came out with allegations that she was having an affair with a pro golfer. This time, she had tons of proof that no one could counter. Woods met Jamie Grubbs as a cocktail waitress in July 2007. At the time, she was only 21 years old, but that didn't stop the pair from getting started on an extramarital affair that lasted for 31 months. This was obviously a well-kept secret of escapades and sex addiction until it all came spilling out after the 2009 car crash. Apparently, the statement that what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas was never true for Tiger Woods, as you would see in the relationship he had with another girlfriend, Kalika Moquin. Kalika was the marketing manager for a nightclub in Las Vegas where Tiger Woods loved to spend a lot of his time. However, there was more to those visits than heavy drinking and partying, and that was a secret love affair with Kalika. Woods wasn't happy in his relationship and claimed that he was under a lot of pressure. Apparently, just one woman wasn't enough to help him feel more relaxed. You would think that Tiger Woods would keep all of his affairs as far away from his matrimonial home as possible, but that wasn't the case with Mindy Lawton, another one of his mistresses. Mindy was a restaurant waitress, but not just any waitress. On several occasions, she would serve Woods and his wife breakfast at the restaurant just a few miles from their Islesworth home. So while she was working in Orlando, the golfer would visit the restaurant as often as possible until they fully started their relationship in 2009. However, this extramarital affair ended in May 2007, just after Tiger Woods had his first child. Meanwhile, that wasn't the end of Mindy's troubles, as she was arrested and charged with driving under the influence in 2011. She ended up spending about a year in jail after crashing her sedan into a car, where the driver suffered multiple injuries and memory loss. Other women that Tiger Woods was linked with include the blonde porn star Holly Sampson and Corey Rist, who was a model that he had a fling with for 6 months. And what was the ripple effect of all these allegations of cheating and infidelity? Well, marriages have broken up into bits for much less, so a split for sleeping with more than 100 women while married is not so surprising. In December 2019, Tiger Woods finally admitted that he had been cheating heavily on his wife and was going to therapy. He also took a bow from participating in any tournament as he was battling injuries. However, a few days later, he announced an indefinite break, and this is how the golden boy of golf went out with his head hung in shame. With this, many of his sponsors began to rethink their endorsement deals with the legendary golfer. While Tiger Woods was losing his hair and his reputation kept going down the drain, things worsened as General Motors pulled the plug on their sponsorship deal with the golfer. Not long after, Gatorade, AT&T, and Accenture followed suit. Only Nike thought it was wise to stick around. Eventually, many of his big sponsors came back with renewed deals, but his marriage was never the same. In August 2010, Tiger Woods and Ellen Nordegren announced their divorce to the entire world, and this ended in a whopping $100 million divorce settlement. With his marriage destroyed, Woods started a long but painful journey back into the golf scene. Although he played at the Masters in March 2010, it was definitely not the kind of performance you'd expect from this pro golfer, but things finally started turning around for him in 2019 when he won his first major since the 2009 car accident after getting another green jacket at the Masters. While Woods has dated several other women since his divorce, it seems that he's finally found true love with Erica Herman. They met while Erica was still an undergrad at the University of Central Florida, and the pair started dating in 2017. The good thing about this relationship is that it's not as public as the others, so it seems that Woods may have finally learned some lessons. Meanwhile, on the career front, this amazing golfer got awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by former President Donald Trump, and he's still actively in the business of returning to past glory on the golf scene. Does he have what it takes to bounce back? Well, only time will tell.